I wish I knew this before, especially when I launched my business. This is what one of my newest clients just recently told me when she was going over the resources that I shared with her through our onboarding process. Hi, I am Andrea, founder of Liquid Sense Bookkeeping, and I am a bookkeeper and financial systems guide for therapy practice owners. And I want to share with you briefly today about receipts. Usually, this is one of the worst areas about being a business owner, having to track receipts, whether it's in your inbox or in your wallet, in your purse, if you go out. So, I want to make this process a little bit simpler for you. The first thing is to understand that it is our responsibility as business owners to keep those receipts and to add information when needed. So this is our expectation as business owners from the IRS. The second is to understand a little bit more about that purpose, which is to have documentation. And as therapy practice owners, you understand the importance of documentation. This is to document and to prove your business expenses. So in any way, if the IRS wants to understand the validity or how an expense that you're claiming that it is a business expense, why it should be a business expense and why they should give you that deduction, the answer to that is going to be in your documentation. And your documentation has to go beyond your bank statements, because in there's only the fact that you spent money on something, but there's no much more detail to it. So that's where the receipts come in. For example, if you go and meet somebody in person, whether it's for, let's say, a networking event or a networking coffee shop, coffee chat, or something like that, you want to write down, this is what I recommend, write down on your actual receipt who was present in that coffee meetup and the purpose for that meeting. Or let's say that you meet with your bookkeeper. With my local clients, we usually go and meet somewhere and I buy our breakfast. Usually we meet in the meeting. So in my case, what I write is meeting with first, last name. Purpose is to review your finances for Q2. So that way, when I take a picture of that receipt, I already have the information that I need and I don't have to remember later on, whenever I remember to take out that receipt from my purse, what that was for, because I just did it at the moment. So the next part would be to store them and save them. Ideally, you just want to have one folder for your receipts per year. And if you're using something like Google Drive, you can just create a little shortcut on your browser and you just drop them in there. And you can do the same thing on your phone. If you're taking pictures of those receipts, you just automatically save them in there. If you want to add level of details to that folder, you can also do them by month, for example, or by vendor. But even if you just have the one main folder for the year where you add everything in there, that will be enough. Another layer, a little bit deeper for documentation is, for example, if you often travel for work and you have to spend money on airfare and hotel and whatnot for specific business purposes. For example, you're traveling for a conference. I would even say to add a little bit extra layer of documentation. Could be a picture of yourself that you attended the conference, or if there was something else related to work that you had to travel and you have a brochure or some tangible document that you can save to, again, show proof that you were actually in there. You can just take a picture of it or save the file and save it in that same folder in order to add that extra layer of support and documentation for your expenses. So remember, saving your receipts is not optional. Every business owner should do it, and it doesn't really have to be complicated. It can be really, really simple, especially for those business paper receipts. You want to make sure that you're saving the itemized receipt, not just the one with the total, but the itemized receipt. And in the case of meals, write down who was present and the purpose of that meeting in the receipt before capturing that picture. And that way you just upload it. And that way you don't have to save them in a box and give them to your accountant at the end of the year, because you already have that there. And taking it a little bit farther, you can also invite your accountant, your bookkeeper to that folder that you already created that is in Google Drive or anywhere else, for them to have access to them. That's going to make your life much more simpler, your accountants, your bookkeepers work much simpler as well.